Everybody wants a Tata Nano.
Cars. When we think of cars, we tend to think of the flashiest automobiles, a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, a Porsche. They are luxury items, often priced out of our reach, but we want them because they are symbols of wealth, symbols of power. However, have you ever considered the potential of cars? All over India, China, and many developing countries, we see families like this perched precariously on a single motorcycle. If you ask them what their dream car is, their answer will probably be a car that is affordable, a car that can fit all of us, last but not least, a car that will bring us to our destination safely. In this aspect, the Tata Nano is not just any other cheap car. It is a revolutionary item that will empower countless people for ages to come.
Widely touted as the cheapest car in the world, the Nano was unveiled in January 2008 and had a starting price of 100,000 rupees or $2,000. Despite its low costs, it is one of the most fuel-efficient cars, having a fuel efficiency of 23.6 km per litre, meeting the most stringent Euro 4 emission standards. Last but not least, the Nano is spacious and is able to seat 4 people comfortably, offering 21% greater legroom than the previous world's smallest car, even though its overall size is smaller. The Nano comes in 3 different variants: the basic Nano, Nano CX and the LX. They are currently sold in India at these prices due to rising material costs. The CX and the LX offer additional luxury items that are not included in the basic Nano, most notably air conditioning, which is not included in the basic version.
To make producing nanos a worthwhile venture, Tata Motors has to make sure that it has more positive cash flow. The positive cash flow is made up of total unit sales times unit margins. For negative cash flow, there is the fixed cost involved, as well as the initial investments needed to build a production plant to produce nanos. What we do know now is that each nano has about a 15% unit margin and a 3% profit margin. Tata has to make the profits increase to make this a viable venture. One of the main solutions that we will be looking at is to cut down the fixed costs. Cars incur a very high fixed cost in the form of production plants and equipment. To reduce fixed costs, Tata has to sell more cars, as this will spread out the fixed costs among more and more cars, leading to higher profit margins.
To sell more cars, we recommend that Tata Motors expand into other countries. To choose what countries we have to expand to, we have decided to look at 3 factors: market segment share, market size, and investments. 4 countries fit these 3 criteria very well. They are Thailand, Indonesia, Mexico, and Argentina.
The first country that we are expanding to is Indonesia. There will be low investment costs in Indonesia because of its low-cost green car policy, which includes an exemption from import tax for equipment and components. The unit labour cost of Indonesia is also one of the lowest in Asia, making the initial investment much lower than it needs to be. If we were to increase the car ownership of Indonesia by GDP growth of Indonesia, we will be able to achieve a conservative sales target of 263,000 cars over 10 years. To expand into Indonesia, we recommend that Tata forms a joint venture with an ATPM. ATPMs are required partners of overseas manufacturers to help with the production process. PT Astra International is the largest car manufacturer in Indonesia with a 52.4% market share. Together, with Tata forming a 51-49 venture, they will build a 40 million plant that produces 20,000 units annually. For selling, we will be partnering with Sun Motor Group, one of the biggest authorized car dealerships in Indonesia. With its 53 branches, we can expect the Nano to be sold all over Indonesia. For marketing, for all our target markets, we will be embarking on 3 phases. Before the launch, we will be focusing on motor shows, where we aim to present the Nano to the population. At the launch, we will have a one-time ad in major newspapers announcing that the Nano is ready to be sold. Last but not least, after the launch, we will open small Nano testing shops to let consumers all over the country test drive the Nano before making their purchase decision.
The second country that we are expanding into is Thailand. Growing car ownership at Thailand's GDP rate, we estimate a sales target for 260,000 cars. For investments, we will leverage on Thailand's attractive eco-car incentives, which provides a reduced excise tax rate of 17% on small cars like Tata Nano. Less import duties need to be incurred on machinery under this incentive, and the company will also be exempted from corporate income tax for 8 years. For the terms of the joint venture, Tata is already in partnership with Thonburi Assembly, one of the largest independent assemblers in Thailand. We recommend a 70-30 partnership with Thonburi to manufacture the Tata Nanos, and for Tata to invest in 40 million to build a new manufacturing plant besides the current one to tap in the existing distribution networks. The JV will benefit from the existing dealership network of 43 branches. Marketing of the Tata Nanos will be done through the Bangkok International Motor Show.
The third country that we are expanding into is Mexico. There are low investment costs because the hourly wage for the country is much lower at 6.5. In addition to the huge population of Mexico, the potential market size for Mexico is attractive because of possible exports to other countries. It is involved in NAFTA, where it gets to export to US and Canada without paying taxes. And it has also signed 12 free trade agreements with 44 other countries, making exporting to these countries much more favorable. For this joint venture, we suggest that Tata partner with Grupo Autofit, a large established car manufacturer and assembler in Mexico. Keeping with the law, Tata will only hold a maximum of 49% in the joint venture. We also recommend that they build the production plant at Juarez because of its many industrial parks and close proximity to the US border. Again, we will advertise the Nano at the Salon Automobile Show before proceeding on with the other two phases.
The last country for expansion is Argentina. It enjoys low labor costs, which reduces cost of manufacturing, making it favorable for investment. The government also provides a 6% cash reimbursement for the production. Being part of the Mercosur trade bloc provides access to a market of 234 million people in Latin America, with no duties for export within the region. Tata Motors has an existing JV with Fiat, which has a strong presence in Latin America, and Tata will continue leveraging on the existing JV with 50% equity from both Tata and Fiat to manufacture 30,000 Tata Nanos a year. The new plant will be located near the existing Cordoba manufacturing plant. We will market the Tata Nano at the South American Automotive Trade Fair. The projections of cash flows and NPV are calculated to be positive, with a higher NPV in Asia because of the higher growth rate. Two important issues we have identified from our investments will be the impact on communities around the factories and protests by environmental groups. Over the life cycle of our projects, each manufacturing plant will set, monitor and perform beyond regulatory emission standards and contribute to the local economy by hiring local labor. To respond to the demands of environmental groups, Tata Motors will also venture into new hybrid electric models that can be incorporated with the Tata Nano.